Hello, friends. It's Chris Angel coming at you. This is another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. We are going in on 555 episodes starting yesterday. So today is day 2, episode 2. And I believe this is actually episode 374, maybe 75. I always forget in the total scheme of things. But thanks for hanging out with me. I've got some juicy stuff for you today. Holy smokes. Okay, well, let's just start because I'm not exactly sure where this will go. I was in a hypnotherapy session yesterday, and what came out of the conversation was that anger may be the lid on my results, right? Anger may be the lid on my performance. Interesting, right? I hide my anger well. I hide it well. So if I'm talking to you, if I'm out doing videos, whatever, I hide my anger well. Unless, of course, you live in my house, and then you'll see me get frustrated at the littlest thing. Yes. This is such a good realization for me, because I've spent a lot of time looking for answers and breakthroughs. I've spent a lot of effort and hours. Listen, I work hard. I hustle, right? I'm hungry. I want to reach my potential. And the frustrating part about that is that I keep bumping up against one hurdle after another. So what happens is anything that doesn't go the way I want it to go pisses me off. Right? Yes. And so, coincidentally, wink, wink, I bought the book, hang on, The Heart of the Soul from Gary Zukav. I read this 2 or 3 years ago, and every chapter I cried. Every chapter I cried. But I bought the hardback recently, and it got to me a couple days ago before my hypnotherapy session. But I remember in that book, he talks about anger. And so this morning, I went in and read the chapter on anger. Whew. Man, it was so perfect. It was so succinct. Immediately in the first page of anger, he talks about, I should actually read some of this to you. Hang on. There's some really good stuff in here. Watch this. Anger is righteous and self-important. Anger does not listen to, respect, or care about others. It makes others wrong, to blame, inferior, or inadequate. It cares only about itself. Anger wants what it wants, when it wants it, on the terms that it wants it. Guys, this is perfect. This is textbook. The place I've been in for a long time. I want what I want when I want it. And this is my personality. What I'm discovering, this is my personality that is there is a noble intention here, right? I want to make change in the world. I want to expand. I want to become the best version of myself. So there's a noble intention, but my personality hijacks this thing and is it has to be a certain way. So if you continue reading in the chapter, what's interesting is Gary goes in and talks about underneath anger. Anger is just the tip of the iceberg, right? There's this whole, or the summit on a mountain. And underneath that summit on a mountain, underneath the clouds of that, there's this whole substructure. Anger is the summit. Underneath anger is pain. Underneath anger is a pain. Okay? And underneath that pain is a fear. Underneath that pain then is a fear. So here's how I noticed this. I'll give you the example. I'll just give it to you straight. Despite me wanting to filter, but I'll give it to you straight here. This is one example, but what I notice is when others have success, I get frustrated that they've had success and I haven't. So the example I mentioned yesterday in my hypnotherapy session was StoryBrand, which I love, and I love Donald Miller. I've read Donald Miller's books since he wrote Blue Like Jazz. So, wow. In 2001, somewhere in that window is when I read Blue Like Jazz. Awesome book, and it's now 2020. So I've been familiar with Donald Miller for 20 years. He created a company called StoryBrand, and I want to say he created StoryBrand 5 or 6 years ago. And StoryBrand, I'm guessing, I think he's mentioned some numbers, but it'll do 25 million. Maybe StoryBrand will do 5 million. I don't know, but it's between 5 million and 25 million. The number 25 million is in my head for some reason. So they're going to do some good numbers this year in business. When I see that, I think to myself, Donald Miller doesn't know more than me. He's not smarter than me. He's not more spiritual than me. Why does he have 25 million in annual revenue and I have a fraction of that? My best year, I'm coming off my best year of 130,000. That's the number. Let's be transparent about that. That's the number, 130,000. That was a good year for me. I was happy with that year. And then I get triggered by looking at somebody else's result and I think, what the hell? My numbers they're not smarter than me. They're not better than me. Do you see how anger wants what it wants, when it wants it, the way it wants it? And this is not limited, by the way, to business. I could look at another example I use is when I walk my dog. My dog is very strong-willed. So my dog will sniff what she wants to sniff and go where she wants to go and do stuff. And I get so frustrated because what I want, when I want, what I want, when I want, how I want is for her to just walk by my side and not deviate from the walk. We are walking. We are not smelling. We're not sniffing. We're not doing those things. We are walking. Do you see so there's this anger and this frustration with, you can see this inside of projects. Projects are infamous for me. If I take on some kind of a project that is beyond my skill set, what I want is for it to go the way I want it to go without any hiccups. And when I get some kind of a hiccup, I'm pissed. That's anger. So, underneath this anger is a pain. And the pain is that I can't have what I want. I'm not getting what I want. I want something and I don't have it. And it's magnified when I look at the amount of effort I put into and the amount of heart I put into these things. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. I just pour myself into it. So that I pour myself into it and I don't have what I want is super frustrating. Now, underneath the pain of it is a fear. And this was interesting for me. So as I read further into Heart of the Soul, what I started to see inside of, or underneath the pain of it was the fear. And the fear, ooh, this is a good one. By the way, I'm telling you my story so that you can find your own, right? The whole reason I share these things is for you to see yourself in the share. So the fear underneath the pain was, well, what if I don't have what it takes to pull this off? What if I don't have what it takes to reach the goals? What if I never get there? What if I've spent all this effort and I get nothing in return? Do you see, there was all of this, what if I can't go the distance? What if I'm not the guy that can get it done? You can hear the common thread of that. It all comes back to kind of the same thing. And by the way, this is classic hero's journey stuff. Here I am, the hero in my own story, trying to find out if I have what it takes to get it done. Interestingly, when I had that, when the thought came up that anger is the lid on my results, I felt this attachment to my anger. I didn't want to let it go. I'm addicted to the feeling I have that's connected to my anger, because I feel strong, I feel courageous, I feel like with anger, I will take on hard things. So to consider that anger is the lid on my results means if I have to give up anger, well, then who am I? Then who am I? Interesting, right? There are things that you are holding on to that if you had to give them up, you don't want to give them up. There's an addiction to the feeling you get when you cling to the whatever it is for you. Maybe it's not anger for you. Maybe it's being so supportive. Maybe it's being so understanding. Maybe it's being so loving. There are things that are a lid on your results. And there's an addiction to the feeling you get by being those. And they've served you. Yes, in a way. Anger has served me for years in producing results. But I'm at a ceiling of what that energy can produce for me. And you, similarly, may be at a ceiling of what the energy you've used can do for you. What is that for you? Can you get a sense of what it is? See, the thing for me was I've been frustrated by, and I've been looking for answers in, what is the thing that will set me free in business for my results? And I keep looking to the mechanics of things. Funnels, ads, landing pages, offers, all the things that I'm like, okay, where is the hole that's causing this leak in my results? What I hadn't considered is that the leak is in a way that I'm being. It's an energy that I'm leading with, and the energy is an energy of anger. You, similarly, have been looking for a breakthrough in results in your life, whether it's a relationship or your body or your business, whatever it is, right? Like you have been looking for a breakthrough. And you've also been looking at the mechanics of things. Oh, if I just do this thing, if I just learn that thing, if I just take this course, and my invitation to you is to start to look at how you're being about things. Is there a vibe or an energy or something that is about, is there something that is out of alignment with love? Is there something out of alignment with love, right? Anger is out of alignment with the nature of love. Love is what love is, and anger is out of alignment with that. Do you have something out of alignment with love? A way that you're being? Are you resentful? Are you embarrassed? Are you full of shame? Are you scared? Look, underneath the anger is a pain. And underneath the pain, right? Underneath the pain is a fear. I've isolated it now. I've looked at it. I've seen it. I'm like, okay, I got what the fear is. I'm afraid of that. And now staring at it, naming it, acknowledging it, it's not as scary as it was before I acknowledged it, right? So for you, when you start to name it and acknowledge it, see if you can't find what the pain is. And underneath that pain, see if you can't find what the fear is. And as you look at it, just stare it in the face. Stare it in the face. And see if it doesn't start to lose its power over you. See, I was afraid to give up my anger because my anger gave me strength. But not really, right? And as I look at it, I'm like, that's really interesting. So this afternoon, I'm doing some remodeling in my backyard, and there's lots of dirt around, and my dog likes to chase the hose when I turn on the nozzle. And her paws get muddy, and it's in the past, it's just pissed me off. I'm like, stop doing that, right? At first, it's really cute, and it's very playful, and it's very fun. But then her paws get dirty, and then my personality is like, the anger is, I want what I want, when I want it, how I want it. And what I want is for your paws not to get dirty, because I don't want you to track dirt in the house, blah, 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 right? So today, this afternoon, I just started to notice the anger. I started to notice that and chose a different way to be about it. I was choosing it. I was like, I see. Like, the game here is to not let that have any hold on me, right? And so that was a practice for me. Guys, this whole game of business is one big sandbox for you to play with life and what life wants to teach you. This show is about me bringing to you the things that I'm learning, right? Reflecting back to you something that you could see for yourself. So I'm being transparent about where I'm at. The question is, can you be transparent about where you're at? If you can, here's the good news. That is where you lead from. When in business and in marketing, you are leading a conversation. You are leading people up a mountain. You are leading people to the next version of themselves. And in order to do that, it's not about you having all the answers. It's about you being vulnerable enough, honest enough to lead from your questions. Because from that place, other people feel permission to have their own, right? Other people feel permission to have their own questions. And that's not the way the world is set up. The world is set up with everybody fronting and posturing to be perfect. So along you come, sharing vulnerably the things that you're learning that life is teaching you, and people go, wow, this is refreshing because I don't have to be perfect around you. This is where we share from in our marketing, right? It's where we share from in our marketing. What I know about the game of marketing, the process of marketing, is that it is a journey into your truth. And if you're going to go into your truth, you're going to have to go in humble and willing to look for where you don't have answers and what are the questions you're wrestling with and what has life taught you. And this is where we share from, right? I am more likely as a consumer to trust you when you are honest with me about what you have seen and that you have seen something, right? Like, I have seen my anger. And under that, I have seen the pain, and under that, I've seen the fear. Most people are in marketing would never acknowledge that because they think what you want to hear is somebody who is perfect and afraid of nothing, who gets angered by nothing, is completely noble and set on a pedestal. I just know that you're more likely to trust me by me being honest about my life than being perfect about my life. And the same is true for the people that you're seeking to serve. You're trying to serve people, and in seeking to serve those people, your ability to come off with honest perspective and feedback about your life is half the battle, right? So, this is where we share from in marketing. I have a whole framework around how to share this way. If you'd like to learn more about how do you share powerfully from vulnerability, you can go to my website at groundswellmethod.com. There are some videos waiting for you there. And on the last page of those videos is an application button, right? So go to groundswellmethod.com. The link is in the text of this post. Watch the videos that are waiting for you there. And on the last page, click the apply button and apply for the next upcoming 6-week intensive, which starts at the time of this recording, starts August 24th, I believe. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Here's to you finding the lid on your results and setting yourself free. See you tomorrow.